news that Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has now agreed to testify before the House Foreign Affairs Committee. The chairman of that committee, Ros-Lehtinen. Welcome, Congresswoman. Great to have you here.
Thank you, Uma. Thank you.
Before I get to the news about Mrs. Clinton going before the committee, what do you know about this latest arrest of a suspect tied to that brutal attack on our Benghazi consulate?
Well, it's certainly welcome news that they are proceeding with this investigation, that they're getting some results. This will be yet another test of the Morsi Muslim Brotherhood-led government, which as of late been a deep disappointment and has caused great concern throughout the international community about the move toward more authoritarian tactics, the suppression of the minority, and the power grab of the Morsi Muslim Brotherhood regime. Now, if they cooperate with the U.S. and turn this individual and others over to the United States for prosecution, it does not mean that we should let the Morsi government off the hook. I think that we're giving good money after bad. The administration is asking for the Egyptian government to have $450 million from U.S. taxpayer dollars, and we have seen nothing but bad moves by the Egyptian authorities. So we're hopeful that this investigation that is leading to this arrest, and maybe others, because it is not a one-person operation, will finally get justice for the 4 brave Americans who lost their lives and in this terrorist attack in Benghazi. And we are pleased that Secretary Clinton will be coming before our committee before the end of this year.
Well, let's talk more about that. Do you expect her to have a date certain, as you point out, before the end of this year? Do you have that date before you?
There's every indication that this will happen before the end of this year, as soon as the report is complete, which is expected to be done in the next days or weeks. So we have every expectation that she will testify, that she will do so in an open setting, and that perhaps the leaders of the report, the lead investigators, may be testifying before us in a closed setting. But as of now, we've been very frustrated with this administration because time and time again they keep having closed briefings, including one as just a few days ago in D.C., another classified briefing. They're always willing to come up for closed settings, but we want the American people to know what happened in Benghazi. Were the requests for extra help not heeded? Why did Susan Rice go on 5 national news to talk about this video when in fact we knew that this video was not to blame? Why did President Obama go before the United Nations General Assembly and 6 times make reference to a video when this was not the cause of what was clearly an Al-Qaeda terrorist attack? So the American people want answers in an open setting, and we're glad that Secretary Clinton will appear before us.
And is this the only committee that she plans to testify before? Will there be others that she plans to talk with?
In our conversations with the Department of State, it is very clear that the Secretary will testify before our House Foreign Affairs Committee and before Senator Kerry's Foreign Relations Committee, and that those will be the only 2 committee hearings in which she will testify. There might be other closed briefings, but I don't know about that yet. But we've had enough of these closed briefings. I think the families of these brave Americans deserve answers, and the American people need to be told the truth, because what we want is not just to rehash the past. We want to make sure that in the future our posts are guarded, that the host government knows their responsibilities for guarding our embassies, and we want to make sure that if there are indications that they will be under attack, that we are taking measures not to have them be open targets, but that we will shelter them and we will protect them. That should be the responsibility of the host government as well. But how safe are our diplomats?
But isn't also the question that needs to be asked is why our ambassador was in Benghazi in the first place at a time when it was very clear that the area was unsafe and that countries like Britain had already recalled their ambassador?
Uma, it is all so perplexing why a sad anniversary like 9/11 that we know means so much, not just for the pain of the Americans, but it means so much for the many enemies that the United States has, why we would have had an ambassador in a consulate that is not does not have enough security, why the requests for additional security were not heeded, why they were actually turned down. We have a lot of conflicting information that we have had in classified settings. That's why it will be refreshing to have this done in an open setting, because the administration says one thing in a closed briefing, and yet what we're hearing in what we might hear in an open setting might be different. So we will reserve our judgment to see the results of this investigation, this report. But what we know is that all of it is troubling, especially the request for further fortification and further security. Could those lives have been spared? And not only is that question relevant, but what about the future, looking into what is going on now in the world? How safe are our diplomats? What more can we do? And why do we keep giving government and arms to countries where there are too many arms already? Libya is awash with weapons. And also, why are we going to give money to places like Egypt, where they're not as clear on human rights and on freedom? Do we deserve to give money to we're supposed to help allies. We're not supposed to buy love everywhere we want love to be.
Well, certainly there's a lot at stake, and I know that we'll be looking forward to that testimony when it happens. Congresswoman, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, Uma.